What's up, everybody? Matt Gajewski here, back finally with the Odd Shopper channel. We'll knock off some rust today and start a new series about college basketball betting. Get into a few details in a second about this, but before we get started, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, helps us a ton. And we are brought to you by BetMGM. They have an offer for new users in every single live state except New York, Nevada, and PR, which I think is Puerto Rico. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But anyway, head over to BetMGM with a link in the video description below. Make your first $5 deposit, then $5 wager on any market, and you will get $158 in the form of bonus bets. This is a limited time deal, so make sure you take advantage of this as soon as you can. It will not be around forever. The legal age for gambling in most states is 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, so we are going to start this college basketball betting series. Been in the works for a little bit now, but ironing out some kinks in college basketball model making that I'm doing on the back end. And just first and foremost, some of you may be here from college football. That is a better sport for me. This is not my best sport, my second best sport. I only bet two sports, but I'm better at college football than basketball. My recommendation is use this for the information, make your own decisions, and move from there. But we'll try to give you the best information possible on these games. We'll start with 2 today and then hopefully increase the amount of games as I get this under my belt, just some back end stuff and whatnot. But anyway, we'll use this graphic. And of course, if you have feedback, let me know. Would love to just hear what you guys want. There's specific stats, things you want to see, let me know. But been betting college basketball for a little bit this season behind the glass, I suppose. And Wake Forest has been a cash cow so far, and I don't see that changing today. They're 2-point underdog at NC State. Obviously, road teams have had a lot of trouble this year, and I think a lot of that is because of the age of some of these teams in the COVID era and the transfer portal market. You can get old players from mid-major teams that are veterans, and when you're on your home court, that can be really important, which it has been so far. But anyway, Wake Forest is just a superior team across the board to NC State, who hasn't played very many good quality teams. You look at the strength of schedule for NC State, it's outside the top 100. To be specific, this comes in at 158th, whereas Wake Forest ranks 104th in strength of schedule. So that's something we should look at immediately. But then offensive efficiency, Wake Forest 31, NC State 77. Defensive efficiency, Wake Forest 71, NC State 86th. Rebounding 109 to 193. Height is a massive mismatch here. Wake Forest is 10th in effective height. NC State is 149th. I'll dive into some of the player-specific stuff in a second, but I don't see NC State being able to hang on the interior of this matchup against Wake Forest. But then from there, you dive into like the body of work for these two teams. NC State has 2 top 100 wins. One of them came against Boston College in overtime, and Boston College ranks 90th. That's not even really a quality top 100 win. And then they beat Virginia, a team at 67th in scheduled power-adjusted rankings, which I'm not really buying and have been betting against for a while now. Otherwise, their best win on the season is probably Notre Dame, who's a corpse, maybe Louisville. And all this to say, they barely have any wins in the top 200. This NC State team is relatively unproven, but you look at their players, they're largely cast-offs from other programs like DJ Burns. This is a mid-major transfer up in his second year here. Really struggles with fouls at times. He's 6'9". Now he's going to be asked to bang on the interior against Efton Reed, who was cleared earlier this year. Andrew Carr, who's 6'10". I mean, Efton Reed is 7 feet tall. This is going to be a really tough matchup for NC State inside. And then I still don't really buy what they have scoring the ball. You basically have one shooter in DJ Horn, who's awesome. 44% from 3 so far this season. That's on 103 attempts, which is pretty solid. But you're going to be facing a pretty solid defense in Wake Forest. Again, they're 71st, have the edge there. And what they really excel at is the interior. So, I mean, I think this is a huge mismatch. And as long as Wake Forest can travel here, they should be completely fine. Last note is they do have a couple losses this year. They're all on basically away floors or neutral courts. That's the problem. They did pick up one away win against Boston College, but they also didn't have Efton Reed for a large point in that schedule. Like 3 of those losses came in their first 5 games against Georgia by 3 points, Utah by 7, and then in OT against LSU. All those are top 100 opponents. All those were without Efton Reed. So I do think Wake Forest has a little bit of meat left on the bone in matchups like this. Let's go to our second game. Excuse me for some of the delays here on the glass. How do we get this to work? How do we go to our second game? Anyway, this isn't working. Yeah. There we go. All right. Is this up now? Cool. All right. Butler Xavier's the second game. You guys can tell I'm rusty, especially with these graphics. It's been a year. Anyway, sorry about the delay. Like the over in this game, it's at 150.5. And right away, both these teams have played really difficult schedules. So offensively, I think there is some meat left on the bone for both teams here. You look at the schedules. Butler's played the 26th most difficult schedule, and Xavier's played the 5th most difficult schedule in the country, which surprised me. And these teams have been pretty decent. Right now, just have the overall efficiency rankings on the screen. When you schedule adjust, there's quite a bit of difference. So Butler 66th, Xavier 166th. I went and schedule adjusted these offensive efficiency metrics for both teams. Butler comes in 36th and Xavier comes in 59th. So there's a lot of potential meat left on the bone for these two teams offensively. And Xavier's been a surprise regardless. This is a team that lost Zach Freemantle and Jerome Hunter before the beginning of the season. So their schedule-adjusted offensive efficiency ratings actually been increasing throughout the year, and they've gotten really close to the top 150 since December started. And that makes sense. You lost maybe your two best players, and then you've had to rebuild everything and have a new starting five gel. So that makes sense. And then on defense, Butler, they're 122nd overall. Xavier's 70th, which isn't anything too impressive. So I think when you look at the pace, which both of these teams play relatively fast, they're both well above average in pace. And then the offensive efficiency, which I think is going to be a little better than these numbers indicate just because of this brutal schedule both teams have played. This is a game that could get up and down and play towards the over. So this is the second one I've taken. And this is where we'll stop today with the plays, hopefully as I get used to making these graphics and transitioning a little better. We'll get to more picks. If you're looking for a bonus pick, I do write an article on college basketball betting every day. For player props, we are on the over 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists for Tennessee's Dalton Connect. Massive total 159 against Florida. Hyper condensed rotation when they play competitive games in conference. So that's one we like to. But thank you guys for watching. Leave all the feedback. Would love it. We'll continue to increase the amount of picks and hopefully give you more information as the season goes on. Until tomorrow, good luck. We'll see you guys next time.